This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So I'm from this little town out in, I think, in the middle of nowhere, but I was born and raised there, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It has a special place in my heart.
Coalinga?
Coalinga, yeah.
Right?
No, there's Coalinga.
Oh, Coalinga.
Or
Sorry.
Coalinga,
What's the
depending on if, yeah. So anyways, if you're looking at a California map, north to south, east to west, smack dab in the middle is Coalinga. And I was born and raised there. My parents made a point of having us born and raised there. They wanted us to be able to say we were born and raised from somewhere. And, right, because they moved around. Like my dad moved around a lot as a kid. He was born in, I think, where was it, Arkansas? And then he moved around a lot. And so he never had a place where he called home. So they said, hey, we want you to have a place that you can call home.
Coalinga.
And they picked Coalinga.
What is Coalinga known for? What are the big industries there?
Well,
You had to describe, hey, I'm from Coalinga. Oh, sure, Coalinga.
So how I describe Coalinga to people is if you are driving down I-5 and it smells really bad,
Wow.
right? Harris Ranch, the feedlot right there, or Harris Ranch, the hotel.
So true.
That's Coalinga. But how Coalinga got started, we don't have to turn this into a Coalinga show, but how Coalinga got started was it was a boom town. Back in the late 1800s, they started drilling for oil. And so at one point, Coalinga was one of the most prosperous areas in the state, and they're still pulling oil out of the ground well over 100 years later. So if you've seen the movie There Will Be Blood, Coalinga. So Coalinga had a lot of farming, oil, and prisons.
Oh, wow. Is the prison still open?
Oh, there's multiple prisons. Yeah. So Pleasant Valley,
Wow.
Avenel, and then there's another facility. There used to be a Claremont Custody Center where they would people transitioning out of like more high security, getting ready to transition into the community, would go to Claremont Custody Center, and so it was just so funny because like people were in there for like smoking weed and selling weed and stuff. And now I think one of Snoop Dogg's family members bought Claremont Custody Center, and they're growing weed in the cells. They're using it as a grow center. But all that to say,
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I don't get a chance to talk about Coalinga with a whole lot of people now that we're in, the Sacramento area. But I was just talking with our special guest today, Miss Cyndy Silva, and she has an upcoming listing in Coalinga.
Yes, I
Not
do.
not just any listing, but this is like a trophy listing.
Absolutely. A 5,000-acre ranch with 3 homes on it.
5,000 acres.
What do they need 3 homes for? Is this a family estate?
It is. It's actually been in the family for almost 300 years.
What? Seriously?
There is even a cemetery on the property where all their relatives have been buried, and there's tombstones that I toured the other day from the 1700s.
Okay, so if it's been around for 300 years, why would they think about selling it?
Well, they're not selling it all. They're only selling 5,000 acres. Believe it or not, they own much more than that. We're not really sure how much they own, but mountains and mountains. But they're going to relocate to Idaho and build a ranch there now.
Okay. Yeah, and so it's actually funny when Cyndy told me about this, I was like, "No way!" And she's like, "Yeah, the Navy SEALs go out there." I was like, "I know this place."
Yes.
You have the listing, and then there's like a famous guy that makes saddles and belt buckles.
Yes.
And I'm like, I know that guy. I went to church with that guy.
Yeah, it is so cool. It's one of the most beautiful pieces of property I've ever walked on. You could feel and see the history there. Yeah, they're one of only 6 places in the United States that have a private gun range that the Navy SEALs do practice at.
Yep.
So with the popularity of shows like Yellowstone and 1923, I think a property like this becomes very appealing nowadays, more so than in the past.
Yep.
Do you agree?
Man, if I had the money, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
Me too. We do. We call it the Little Yellowstone because that's what we feel like when we're out there.
Really? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, 5,000 acres. But what is it selling for right now?
We're going to go on the market about $7 million.
$7 million.
And that includes the 3 properties, the 3 homes?
It does. And what we're trying to also pull in is some hunting rights as well, because when I was there the other day, we saw a herd of elk, we saw wild pig, we saw deer, coyotes. They got everything out there, but elk is becoming a very popular thing to hunt here. So
it's just fun to hear the names, like Den Hartog.
Yes.
We were talking with my dad earlier, and my dad started teaching in Coalinga in the early 80s. And so he taught, like, there's only one school district. So there's not like your kids can go to different schools, And so he taught most of the town for 40 years. Like, you know, you go back, and so he knows them, he knew their families. But yeah, it's just fun to hear the Coalinga names. So like Coalinga names to me would be like Virus, Oxborough, Cranehagen, and then Hartog, and Allen. But yeah. So, anyways, it's just a small world.
Yes, I'm just excited to meet someone from Coalinga. I had no idea, Johnny.
Yeah, we're a rare breed. There's not a whole lot of us, born and raised. Yeah. So, anyways, but you do more than just luxury 5,000 acre, ranches. Tell us a little bit about your history and how you got started in real estate.
Well, how I got started in real estate is an interesting story. I actually did not want to go into real estate, but my best friend made me. So my background was in construction, and I've always worked running big companies, helping build houses, about 1 in every 5 homes during the boom our companies were building.
Wow.
And then I decided to have babies, and I wanted to stay home and raise them. So I raised them at home for about 7 years, and my best friend Darcy Stratton worked for this lovely gentleman named Brent Gove.
Brent who?
And wanted me to meet him so bad and just begged me every day to come to Keller Williams at that time and meet him. And of course, you fall in love with Brent the day that you meet him, and he offered me a job. And I was like, but I'm not looking for a job. Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I ended up taking the job, never looking back, and one of the best careers I've ever worked in. Just so happy to be here today. And now it's been 11 years.
11 years. Man, time certainly flies. But when Valerie and I have said for years, we have so much respect for one of the brokers in Coalinga. We actually, when we got started, we hung our license under her, and you remind me so much of her. And here's why: she loves to have a good time. You love to have a good time.
Yes, I do.
And super knowledgeable about the market, like very much a connector. You're very much a connector, and you know so much. Like, if I have a question and instead of just calling somebody else, I would call you.
Oh, thank you.
Because you know about local communities, you know about events, you know about contracts.
Yes.
You're just very, very, very knowledgeable. And there's not a whole lot of realtors out there like that.
Thank you. Well, knowledge is power in this business. The more you know, the more you could educate your clients, the more referrals you're going to get.
And convert, right?
And convert.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because they have to trust you.
Absolutely.
Speaking of that, you just recently closed one in Whitney Ranch.
Yeah.
Right? You mind sharing us telling a little bit about how you earned their trust and your expertise came into play there?
Absolutely. So there were some clients that were moving here from out of state, and they didn't know anything about California nor the area of Rockland or Placer County. So they actually saw my sign in Whitney Ranch and gave me a call, tracked me down through my website. And sometimes we never know if these kind of people are real or not, because you get a lot of those people blowing smoke. So I decided to call them, and they were very interested in knowing about the area and where should they go to move. And unfortunately, they already went through 2 sets of realtors who were not giving them the data to help them choose a town to live in. So I listened to all their wants and needs, and as soon as I heard all their wants and needs, I knew exactly what home to take them to in Whitney Ranch. And I said, can you meet me tonight? Like, I didn't wait that day. Let's go look at a house.
Nice.
And we went to look at it, and believe it or not, their 90-year-old parents are living with them. So they wanted a bedroom downstairs. However, this house did not have a bedroom downstairs, but it had everything else on their checklist. So I made a phone call before I went there and talked to my general contractor, and I said, look, give me some options of things that I could do. So when I go and show them this house and they're bummed there's no downstairs bedroom, that we could have a solution. They could still do stairs now, but clearly at their age, they might not be able to do.
Yeah, I mean, props to them doing stairs at 90.
Oh my gosh, they're incredible. I was so impressed with them. So we talked about the chairlift you could do, but as you know, if you go to sell your home, no one really wants a chairlift, going up their stairs. And come to find out, if you just spend $10,000 more, you could put an elevator in your house.
No way.
Now, how cool is an elevator versus a chair?
That's an upsell right there.
Right?
So does your contractor put in elevators?
Yes.
Who's your contractor?
Miss Florin is my contractor. He actually I met him from Brent.
Okay.
He used to be our carpet cleaning guy. And then I got him to flip houses with me. And now he has a general contractor's license, and he flips houses now with me.
And his name's Florin?
Florin Tataran. Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
And does elevators.
So
$10,000. That's it for an hour.
$10,000 more than the chair. So
Okay.
the chairs, they're still expensive, but the chairs are like 20 grand and an elevator's 30 grand. And you think about it, you go to sell a luxury property. How cool is it that you have an elevator?
Now I just want a multi-story. I live in a single story. Now I just want a multi-story so I can put an elevator in.
Right?
That's me like a little 3-2, 1,500 square feet, but I got an elevator.
No, but I got an elevator, and it's just such a cool feature. So their whole mindset changed, and I said, hey, if they can't make it, we could always turn the laundry room and make that another bathroom downstairs, a full bathroom downstairs. Yeah. So I came into it having solutions of things that will actually work for their family, and they loved the solutions because, let's be honest, mom and dad might not be around forever, so they didn't want to redo their house just specifically for them. Yeah. And so I came with these solutions, and they loved it. And I said, well, let's go look at a couple more houses because, we got to compare them to others. We went and looked at 2 other homes. Made a great relationship with this listing agent. Of course, I call her back and they have an offer now.
Of course.
And I'm like, no.
Classic Brent, right? Offers have babies.
Absolutely. So I was like, but I developed a great relationship with her. And she goes, Cyndy, we are having some problems with these people. She literally called me, I want your offer. You submit me an offer and I will fight for your offer. And so because this listing agent I never met, we developed this relationship. I did exactly what she said, and our offer was accepted. And 19 days later, they moved in.
19 days.
So from start to finish, 20 days, I was able to get these clients from meeting them to getting them in the house in 20 days, where multiple realtors before couldn't even get them into a contract.
And you attribute that to?
Knowledge. Simple things is, they were looking in Whitney Ranch. Hey guys, do you know that we have an app here in Whitney Ranch? You could download it. It could tell you when the pool parties are, when the car shows are. And they're like, what? No one's told us that. Just the simple knowledge of things like an app that the neighborhood has, or what the ratings of the local schools are, or that Nugget's coming to be built down the street, which is a big deal to have that grocery store. Knowing future growth and why your equity will always grow there by what's going on around there is, once again, very powerful, because now they're doctors and they do travel every 4 years, so they might have to resell in 4 years. And knowing that there's going to be equity by what I've taught them made it an easy sale for them.
That's so cool, Cyndy.
Thank you.
And that's just one example of clients working with Cyndy. When we come back, we're going to give you a few more.
Looking to sell your home this summer? Maybe you're thinking about retiring, moving out of state, but you don't want the complicated process of organizing and doing those costly home repairs, open houses, staging. It doesn't have to be complicated. It can actually be very easy and simple when you work with Johnny Jennings and his team at Made for More Realty. Listen to this. They can get you at least 3, not 1, not 2, but at least 3 cash offers on your home in as-is condition. That means no need to do all the extra work. Just bam, at least 3 cash offers. It's super simple, super easy and fast. What do? You just Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty. Just go online and Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home. There's a reason why they have over 1,000 5-star Google reviews. Don't take our word for it. Do the research yourself. Again, Google Johnny Jennings with Made for More Realty and get more for your home.